Well, a very good morning from Phuket, and today I want to talk about a possible catastrophe that could be happening on the island of Phuket. Want to know more? Then I'll be right back after this. This is the catastrophe that I'm talking about. And yes, I know it doesn't look like a lot at the moment, but first let me explain what we're looking at, and then I will explain the bigger picture, and then you will see how this could possibly turn into a disaster and catastrophe for the island of Phuket. What we have here is we have a large black pipe, which is a mains water pipe that has been recently fitted to this site in the last 48 hours. Next to the water pipe we have a smaller blue pipe, which is the drainage pipe from my property. That drainage pipe is supposed to go across this area and into the drainage sewer drainage channel, which runs all the way down the side, as you can see here. But unfortunately, the large black pipe has been fitted at exactly the same level as the drainage pipes from the properties. Now, at first glance, one wouldn't imagine this is too much of a problem. As you can see, they've tried to connect by fitting a new pipe, tried to connect this pipe to the blue pipe, but unfortunately, the black pipe is in the way. Now, these drainage pipes from the property, what they actually do is they take the water from the roofs that then travels into the gutters that run along the roof, and that water then travels from the back of the property down underground and comes out in these blue pipes, which then should be connected to the drainage sewer that runs to the storm drain at the bottom of the site. But because they've fitted the large black pipe at the same level, these pipes can no longer be connected to the drainage. So when it rains, all the water that accumulates on the roofs of these properties is going to run down into these pipes and have nowhere to go, simply because the water should be running into the drainage pipe or the drainage channel that runs down the street. As you can see, this pipe runs all the way down, has been fitted in the last 48 hours. There's a gentleman who lives a few doors away from me. He's actually a Thai gentleman, and he's got a very similar pipe, a drainage pipe here, as you can see, and that pipe is supposed to be connected into the drainage sewers to take the excess water away. He asked the contractors how they were going to connect the pipe, and the contractors told him not to worry, they would sort it out. When he came home from work, this was all covered back over, and they told him they had connected the pipe back up. But of course, he wasn't satisfied with the answer and wanted to double check to make sure that it had indeed been connected back into the drainage sewer, because for obvious reasons. So he decided to dig it back out himself to check, and this is what he's found. He's actually found that the pipe is still disconnected and has not been connected back into the drainage. If they've done this for all the drainage pipes all the way along this site, and this pipe actually runs not only in this part of the site but further along, which I will show shortly, there's a lot more homes that have these drainage pipes. If they've done exactly the same for every home, as you can imagine, there's going to be quite a few pipes that will now be disconnected, which means all this water that we get when it rains is going to run down to the end of the pipe and have nowhere to go, because it can no longer get into the drainage channel. Now, the gentleman that lives here, he's gone to see the local government office to find out what they're going to do about it, because he's not very happy that the building contractors have told him that they had connected the pipe when they clearly haven't. They've said that they're going to look at it, and they haven't come back. It's just been left. So we've had a government official come out this morning to take a look, and he can obviously see the problem. Now, I'm no building expert, but common sense clearly tells me that obviously the black pipe is in the wrong place and that should have been put into the channel at a lower depth to allow for the original pipes that have been here for 4 or 5 years to pass over the top. But in fact what they've done is put that pipe in at the same level, so there is no way of connecting those two pipes together now. The only option is to take out the black pipe, jig the channel deeper, put the pipe in at a lower level, and then the original pipes can then be connected back in. A lot of these homes they've covered over have said nothing about the drainage channels that run from a lot of these homes. I've actually been to the back of my property and I've checked, and each building has got, each individual home has got these drainage pipes that run from the properties that go into this drainage channel that then runs into the bottom of the storm drain, and there's an outlet at the bottom of the soil that goes into the main storm drain to take the water away. Now, for those of you who have seen the videos that I've posted the last few days, a few days ago, the 31st of October, 1st of November, this soil was completely flooded out. Now, I've lived here on this soil for 2 years and I've never ever seen this road flood before. And I'm just starting to wonder now, because of all the building that's been going on in the area, what looks like either commercial properties or homes being built just here on the right hand side further up from my property. They're starting to clear the land. Over the other side of the road, the opposite side, there are going to be a lot of new private homes being built over the next sort of 6 to 12 months. So all this building and construction is taking away obviously the environment where the water naturally would disperse in the ground. However, this is now going to be filled with concrete at some stage. There's going to be a lot of concrete around here, so the water has nowhere now to drain away. And if they're not connecting these pipes into the storm drains, then the water's not going to have anywhere to go. It's just going to sit on the land, and of course this is going to affect the environment. It's going to cause flooding in areas that we wouldn't normally see any flooding. So with all this building taking place, of course there needs to be some safeguards in place to make sure that the building is being done correctly. It's not affecting the environment in an adverse way, and that when it rains, all that water that would normally soak into the ground is taken away into the drainage system and dispersed either into the sea or in other parts of the island. It makes sense to actually run all this rainwater back into the reservoirs. But after speaking to a gentleman this morning down at the local park who used to work for the local newspapers here in Phuket, he's told me that they don't actually have the network set up for the drainage system to drain back into the reservoirs, which is quite surprising. Apparently most of the drainage now on the island of Phuket actually drains into the sea, and currently, for those of you who don't know, the reservoirs are at a very low level, even though it is the wet season, rainy season over here in Phuket at the moment. And you have to wonder, this is one of the reasons why the reservoirs are not filling up. That is for a different video. Going back to what I was talking about, there's a lot of work going on in my soy, and I have to wonder, having seen it right at the end of my driveway, how many more of these drainage pipes are left unconnected, and that when it rains that water is just going into the end of that pipe, into the ground, got nowhere to go. It's going to build up, and of course it's going to add to the flooding issue that we have seen in parts of Phuket, not just here in Shillong, which has never had it before. We've seen flooding in Karon, and it makes me wonder where else is going to start to flood because of all the construction work. Well, I'd be very interested to hear your comments on this, because obviously this is a topic that's going to affect the environment, going to affect the local people that live here, and indeed even the tourism trade, because if we're going to have floods here, people are not going to want to come to an area that's prone to flooding. If you're looking at buying property here, again, you've got to look very closely at the construction, who it's been constructed by, whether it's been checked and passed off, whether the safeguards are in place to protect the people that own it. The guy that I was speaking to from the newspapers, who's now retired, he was telling me this will be left dusted over, and then in 12 months time when we have a problem, it's going to be left to the people that own the properties to sort it out. And the only answer and solution that I can see to sort this problem out is by removing that main water pipe, digging further down and lowering the pipe, which is going to be an extremely costly venture for anybody to do. It's not something that the private individuals can do themselves. They're going to have to pay for a construction company to come in and take all this pipe up, and this pipe literally runs from this side right up to Shillong Temple at the top of the road, which is a long way, probably 2 kilometers. So to remove all of this piping that's been laid is going to be an extremely expensive job, to be able to connect all the drainage pipes back up as they were connected before. Now, the government official has told us this morning that the construction company are going to come back and look at this issue and put this right. I'm interested to see how they get around this problem, because honestly I can't see any answer to the problem but to lower the main pipe so that the original pipes can now pass over the top of that pipe and be connected back into the drainage. But I'm going to wait and see what they do later on. If they come back and just cover the hole over when we're not around, then I shall dig it out and check that the pipe's been connected, just to see, like the gentleman a few doors away from me has done the same. I'm going to do the same to make sure that this pipe is connected and see how it's connected, see whether it's an effective way of doing it. Because I've got a sneaky feeling that what they're going to actually try and do is actually put a link so that it goes up and over the pipe and back down, which of course is not going to work, because water doesn't flow uphill unless it's under pressure, of course, unless it's being pumped over there. This is obviously drainage, so there's no pressure on the system. It's just the natural flow of water, so it's not going to allow the water to pass over the pipe. So I'm going to be interested to see how they solve this problem without removing the pipe. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt for the time being, but to me the only solution looking at this is to lower the main water pipe by removing it, digging the hole lower and deeper to allow the pipe to sit further down so that these pipes can be connected that run over the top. But we're going to wait and see what develops, and I will keep you up to date.